Oh, my goodness. Well, at least it wasn't Dynasty. Monday Night Raw, Minneapolis, Minnesota tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have one more Monday Night Raw on the road to WrestleMania. And we got actually several matches announced tonight for WrestleMania. I'm not sure if anybody is more excited about WrestleMania because of what was announced tonight, but at least we now have a substantial card for WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Seth Rollins, quite the heavy tease of Seth Rollins possibly winning in the main event on night one against Roman Reigns, and CM Punk as the architect, the revolutionary, now has asked Paul Heyman for a favor. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, official and grande Americano, has a WrestleMania match. Gotta love it. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to the venue. Tonight we're drinking in honor of Kevin Castle. And wherever he is, we love Kevin, and may he rest in peace.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw Post Show for April 7th, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you may be. You know, I've been sitting in kind of shock the last 5 hours or so. And I'm going to do my very best not to actually cry. I hate crying in front of people. I've done enough crying for the last 6 months to kind of not want to do it again for a very long time. Unfortunately, this is part of the job when we put ourselves in front of the camera. And we get to know each other in the community. I started doing this thing about, 2015. Started a YouTube channel in 2015 because I made coffee at Starbucks and I sold watches on Madison Avenue in New York City. I hated selling watches. Fucking hated it. People were nasty. I hated wearing a suit and tie. To this day, I hate wearing suits and ties. Hated going to work every day. My boss told me I had to shave every other day. I'm like, asshole. What do you want me to do? I'm not shaving every morning to come to work to sell watches. You deal with the stubble or you get rid of me. He eventually backed off. This happened for 3 years. Left one place, went to another place. My boss at the second place, I walked out on because when the family dog died, I went to him and said, my mom called me frantically crying on the phone. We got to take the dog, the family dog, to the vet. I think it's dying. He looked at me and said, why do you need to go home? It's just a pet. Walked out on him, never came back again. From that place, I went to work at a jewelry store in Yonkers. Fucking hated it. It's when I really started going hard on YouTube. I really put a lot of my time into YouTube. Gave up a lot. Nights drinking, nights going out with the guys, just looking for girls at the bar. I was in the middle of an 8-year relationship at the time. Neglected her too, to do content and play video games with the guys. I wish I could take that all back. The first video I've ever done on the channel, it may still be up now. It's nothing more than a picture of Yokozuna and Hulk Hogan from the 1993 King of the Ring, and me getting my feet wet into content creation, going on YouTube. Still picture of Yoko and Hulk Hogan from the 93 King of the Ring, the WWF title match that year. Talking about how important that show was to me and why it's my favorite pay-per-view of all time, or at least one of them. From there, we blossomed into growing off the script. I did live in a basement apartment by myself in the Bronx on Eastchester Road, right in front of Louie and Ernie's. And the more that I put myself out there and the more that I grew, we went from 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 50. The more that I grew in the community, I started to model myself and take inspiration and influence from some of the finest pro wrestling podcasters that New York City had to offer. The one that I immediately gravitated towards, I'm now fortunate enough to call him a friend and work with him on Tuesday nights. You guys know him as the Solid Monster. I know him as Jason. I work with him on Tuesday nights. I listen to him every single day until I got what I needed from him on how to do this thing. I still listen to him every week now. He's one of my favorite people to go out there and listen to. From Jason, I found Don Tony and Kevin Castle. Through Don Tony and Kevin Castle, I became very familiar with Kev's brother, John Draper. Through Draper, I found the Wrestling Soup guys. This conglomeration of great people is the Don Tony, Kevin Castle family, the circle. And throughout the years that I did this, and my move out of the Bronx, I went through a very terrible breakup, where I looked in the mirror and I didn't even recognize who I was anymore. It was at that point in my life where I sat alone in my basement apartment with the windows closed, wanting life to end. I didn't want anything to do with anybody. I scared a lot of people. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know where my life was going from there. I was with a great person for 8 years. And it just didn't work out anymore. Fortunately, that person, Kevin, knew. And throughout all of that, where it was just a huge uncertainty in my life, Kevin was the one person who drew me back in. He was a voice of confidence. He was a voice of reason. He was a voice of guidance. He was a voice of love. He was a voice of rationality. Kevin checked on me every week until I got back up on my own 2 feet. And he checked on me until he knew things were going to be all right. I confided in him in things that I really didn't tell people at that time. There were maybe 2 other people in that time that I really expressed my feelings to. He was one of them. Dr. Evil Genius was another one. Kev was a beacon of light in one of the darkest points in my life. And I never forgot that. And I always let him know. The Alexa Bliss situation happened. Who was there to back me up? Kevin Castle, Don Tony, Wrestling Soup, John Draper. All these guys backed me up. This little unknown kid from the Bronx who's trying to make his way into the wrestling community, and he's got a loud voice, and he's angry, and he says outlandish things like he's Andrew Dice Clay. They all took a chance on me. They all gave me a shot, and they all welcomed me into their community. And I'm very grateful that I'm still a part of that family and a part of that community today. He was right there. Don Tony was there. The Soup guys were there. Draper was there. They all backed me up and always went to bat for me. We used to talk about our love for heavy metal. Kev was big in the music scene here in New York City. A music scene that I was a part of for 10 years. And I always regretted that we never really crossed paths. My brother's a musician. My brother Frank is a musician. He's still making music today. My brother Frank still mentions Kevin because Frank played in venues that Kevin worked in. We always shared our love for heavy metal. Always. He was a Mets fan. I'm a Braves fan. We shared our love for baseball. Always joked about baseball. Kev was always passionate about rescuing the felines and giving back that love to the cats. I began my journey fostering kittens after Bacardi passed. After Bacardi passed away, I fostered a beautiful family of kittens. First person I reached out to was Kevin, because I knew how important it was to him. It was my first journey into doing something like that. And I wanted to make him proud because I knew how important that was to him. Kev always reached out to me when it came to carrying Cross, Killer Cross. Always used to tell me that Cross was always hitting him up. Cross is excited. Cross may be coming to the venue. I want to hook you guys up. Another New York guy. He was so happy about Cross finding success. Always spoke so highly of Cross. I said, bro, I know. As soon as Cross started to turn that page in the last 6 to 9 months, I hit Kev up and I said, bro, I think this is his year. I think finally this year is going to be the breakout year for him. He was always so excited about what Cross was going to do next and what Cross was going to say and the cryptic vignettes that Cross used to post online. Always. We always shared in our excitement about how great Cross's acting was and his body language, his facial expressions. Guy could be a fucking leading role in a feature film. That's how good he was. "56 years old is too young, man. It's too fucking young, man. You know, I just turned 43 this year. I lost my Aunt Teresa a week before Christmas. I had to see my Aunt Teresa with my family, laid to rest. I saw parts of the funeral service that I did not see from my grandpa. For weeks after my Aunt Teresa's passing and her burial, I sat with the finality of life. I questioned for weeks, is this it? Is this what happens? We get put in a box, we get raised on a crane and put into a wall, and it's sealed off until my Uncle John goes in there. And he lays right next to her. Is this it? I still think about it to this day. She was only 73 years old. Kev was 56. And I sat here for 4 hours after his brother, John Draper, reached out to me telling me that Kevin passed away. And I sat here in silence. Raw was on, but I wasn't really paying attention. It was more than... It was too much for my mind to handle at the time, and I just used it as background noise. I just sat here in disbelief, and I sat here just dumbfounded over why. I tuned into Don Tony's Discord for a little bit. They gave a brief explanation of what he was dealing with. I did not know he had health problems. I did not know he had neglected any help, and just kind of brushed it off and said, oh, don't worry about it. I'm fine. And I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, shit, man, that's the same way that I do. It's the same way that I operate. Now, don't worry about it. You hear this news, man, and it puts a lot of shit into perspective. And I'm sitting here not only now after my Aunt Teresa passed away right before the Christmas season. Now I'm sitting here with a friend of ours, 56 years old, who passed away. And once again, I'm putting life into perspective again. I told someone earlier today before the stream started, this shit really makes you think about life, man, and how we should cherish life. The last time I spoke to Kevin was on January 6th about carrying cross. And he once again told me that this is his year. He's going to have a breakout year. I heard from him via mentions on Twitter. He tweeted at me, but nothing face-to-face, nothing personal. I don't really know what else to say. I just wanted to give you guys a brief backstory on where I started and who I got started with first. And those guys, that family, that circle, that New York crew was the first group of people that took me in and welcomed me into what we do. You know, my thoughts and prayers go out to Don Tony. I can't even fathom what he's thinking. John Draper, I can't fathom what he's thinking. The Soup guys. All the DT and Kevin Castle family. Everybody that knew Kevin. All the bands that knew Kevin and worked with Kevin. All the kiddies that Kevin took care of and found homes for. I just don't really know what else to say, man. It's tough. I never had an opportunity to meet Kevin face to face. I never had an opportunity to share a drink with him, sit down and shoot the shit with him. I never got an opportunity to share music with him face to face. And it's one thing I'm going to end up regretting, that we never really came together in person to feel each other's energies and get a sense of who we really are away from this bullshit that we see online every day. All I can tell you guys is, please cherish life. We're all going through some shit. Whoever you need to tell them that you love them. I do a piss poor job of telling everybody that I love them, that I need to. I do a piss poor job of reaching out to people and checking up on them. And I have a terrible tendency of having a bad habit of communication, lack of communication. Because I'm very much to myself on most days. We can't allow that to happen. We can't. Kevin was always in the chat when something big happened. He used to be amongst you guys. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss his guidance. I'm going to miss his influence and his inspiration. I'm going to miss him talking shit about the Mets on the Braves. I'm going to miss his passion for what we do here. A lot of us are very passionate about what we do. And my thoughts, my prayers, and my love go out to everybody that has been impacted by this terrible news. And I thank Don Tony and John Draper for letting me know. I'm going to go get myself cleaned up. Luckily, we have a sponsor for tonight's show. Luckily, you get to see me play some video games. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shill it off to my sponsor for tonight, Turtle Beach. You guys can watch me play Destiny 2 for about 3 minutes so I can wipe these tears away, put on a straight face, and give you guys the best Monday Night Raw Post Show in the community. Thank you very much for listening to me tonight. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry I've taken 20 minutes of your time to express myself and cry in front of 3,000 people tonight, but Kevin will be missed, and may he rest in peace. I'll be right back, guys. I don't want to work this stream with snot coming down my nose and tears running down my face. I'm going to get myself cleaned up. I'll see you back in 3 minutes, right after this word from tonight's sponsor, Turtle Beach. How do you guys feel when you sit down after a long day's work and you boot up your favorite game? Those late night sessions, the epic wins, the sound of the lobby filling up with your friends, the laughter. Gaming just wasn't something you did. It was a whole damn experience. And the right headset made all of the difference. I'm here to say Turtle Beach is bringing that feeling back with the Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. It's like stepping into the golden age of gaming all over again. Only this time, the audio is richer, the sound is more immersive, and the battery lasts an insane 80 hours. No more crackly mics, no more missed callouts, just pure, uninterrupted gaming exactly the way you remember it, but better. For a limited time only, get 10% off your entire order with my code SCRIPT at turtlebeach.com. Don't miss out. And stay warm for the remaining weeks of the winter and level up your game with 10% off at turtlebeach.com using my promo code SCRIPT at checkout. As you guys see here in the gameplay I've provided, I am playing Destiny 2. I am on the Nether, part of their Heresy episode for Act 3. And there's two things I love about this headset, man. Number one, when I sit down with Destiny and I grind on activities such as this, I need a comfortable headset because I'm sitting here for hours, man, and the Stealth 700 headset provides a comfortable headset. This is a headset where I'm not going to hurt after long sessions, and I'm not going to sweat. So the cups and the headset itself is one of the most comfortable headsets I've personally owned, maybe ever. The second thing I love about this is the 80-hour battery life, man. How many times are you doing something in the game and you're fumbling to recharge your headset or change your battery out, swap a battery out? I don't like doing that. You don't have to worry about that with the Stealth 700 headsets, man. 80-hour battery life with quick charge, so you rarely have to think about charging it during your gaming sessions. The Stealth 700 also is the industry's first ever cross-play dual wireless transmitter system. That means you can seamlessly switch between your consoles and PC with just a click of a button. And it gets even better. While you're connected to your console, the Stealth 700 headset can connect with your phone for music streaming or taking calls at the same time. You can listen to your favorite songs while gaming, all done with the Gen 3 Stealth 700. And Turtle Beach doesn't just have amazing headsets. They have every gaming accessory you could ever want, and they're all high quality at prices that don't break the bank. From flight and racing simulators to controllers, keyboards, and mice, Turtle Beach is the ultimate gaming cheat code. So head to turtlebeach.com and use my promo code SCRIPT for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with promo code SCRIPT. And after your purchase, they'll ask you how you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that JD from Off the Script sent you. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. Thank you guys for joining me here on the Monday Night Raw Post Show for April 7th, 2025. Tonight sponsored by Turtle Beach. Make sure you guys go get your headsets, man. Make sure you guys go get your headsets. One of the best headsets that I've used, especially when playing Destiny 2. I got to shout out a couple of people here tonight. We got a bomb in the chat. Obviously, he's a VIP. Obviously, he shows up. Love to see it. David Thiering with a $100 super chat. After your best of 2024 stream, JD, when Don Tony made an appearance, I found his YouTube channel. I tried to catch the DT and Kevin Castle show whenever I got the chance. It's a damn shame that DT and Kevin Castle won't be together any longer. It's a sad day. R.I.P. Kevin Castle. One of the best duos, if not the best duo, in podcasting pro wrestling history. Thank you, my guy David. Always appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you so very much. Sharing that with us. And thank you for your generosity as always. Monday Night Raw, guys, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, I thought Monday Night Raw was a good show. This is the second time in a row that they have been in Minneapolis, and the crowd has been absolutely lifeless. I don't know what happened in Minneapolis. I don't know what's in the air in Minneapolis. I know my guy Andrew Badalla was there with his son. I'm sure he had a good time, and I'm sure his son had a good time. Show was good. The substance of the show was good. The wrestling on the show was good. The crowd was lifeless. It certainly was not the Chicago crowd that we got last week. But all in all, I thought Monday Night Raw did a very good job to tie up some more loose ends going into WrestleMania, get those major match announcements out of the way, and we got now what is a substantial two-night WrestleMania card. The biggest takeaway, obviously, was the end of the show. Paul Heyman coming out to address what happened on Friday Night SmackDown, to address what happened with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk, with CM Punk asking Paul Heyman to walk him down the aisle and be in his corner at WrestleMania 41 against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in the main event of Night 1, that triple threat match that CM Punk will be a part of. Seth Rollins did a lot to make sense of why CM Punk is the villain in all of this. I thought Seth Rollins' promo tonight was as direct and cutthroat as I think Seth Rollins has been in months. And what I saw and what I heard from him tonight really made a lot of sense and really painted a picture for Paul Heyman that CM Punk isn't the guy that he told so many years ago that he'd be walking him down the aisle when he's main eventing WrestleMania, that he is his best friend, he's the best in the world, and the best person that he knows. Seth Rollins painted a beautiful picture that CM Punk is not any of those things. And tonight we're going to go into detail on what Rollins said. But the one aspect of what Rollins said that really struck a chord with me was the fact that Rollins mentioned that it wasn't CM Punk who was asked first to team with the Bloodline, Roman's Bloodline, at War Games. Sami Zayn asked Rollins twice before anybody else if he would join them and fight alongside them against Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline 2.0. It was not CM Punk who was asked first. CM Punk helped you in the end, and he made it about himself because even though you went to him and asked for his help, he still suckered you out of wanting something back in return. So what did he do it for? Did he do it to help you? Did he do it to help Roman? Or did he do it to benefit himself? That was the biggest takeaway for me. And Rollins mentioned other things and other situations that Punk had not been around for with Paul Heyman. Obviously, the big MSG powerbomb spot through the table that Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa took out Paul Heyman. That was the biggest takeaway for me. So we'll definitely get into that. We'll talk about that. And Seth Rollins, at the end of it all, started teasing Paul Heyman, pushing him around. Paul Heyman got very animated and very angry. Punk obviously was not going to have his Wiseman be bullied around by Seth Rollins. And then it was a situation where Rollins said all it takes is one. One stomp to the back of the head and you are out. It is that easy. And he almost did it, but he didn't. He stopped. And Rollins looked at Paul Heyman and said, now you owe me a favor. Is Seth going heel? And did WWE paint the picture that Heyman is going to give up on Reigns and Punk and not necessarily align himself with Rollins, because I don't think that really is the right move. It wouldn't really make any sense. Rollins doesn't need it. But are they painting the picture that Rollins is right and Rollins is going to walk out of the night one main event with the victory? That was my biggest takeaway from that entire segment. We got a lot of WrestleMania matches announced tonight. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. That is now official. Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, Penta, and Dominik Mysterio fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. That is now official. And we also got Rey Mysterio versus Grande Americano. That is now official for WrestleMania. I'm just expecting the other shoe to drop on that one, as I do think it will end up being mask versus mask, just to give it a little bit extra oomph. Because everybody knows it's Chad Gable. But if it is mask versus mask, theoretically, it would signal the end of Grande Americano, which is sad, because I think Grande Americano is fucking awesome. And then Jey Uso and Gunther, they had a stare down, and they did exactly what they needed to do there. Jey Uso needed to come out and not yeet. Jey Uso came out and did exactly what he needed to do, and that is go face-to-face with Gunther and tell him exactly how he was feeling coming out of last week's unbelievable beatdown of Jimmy Uso, while he had to watch as he was zip-tied to the middle rope, watching his brother be beaten into a bloody mess. Like I said, Raw was very good. The substance of Raw was good. The crowd, not so much in Minneapolis. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Monday night. We'll try and get through this as quickly as we can. It's been one hell of an emotional day, man. It's been like this for several weeks now. I'm just looking for sunnier days. The weather in New York City clearly didn't help me. But thank you guys for joining me, man. I want to thank you for the unbelievable support, man. More so than usual. And it's one of the best things that I could possibly say about what we do. Do I get a little angry? Sure. Do I go a little overboard? Maybe. Depends on who you talk to. It's all for entertainment purposes anyway. Last night's Dynasty review is at 55,000 views, real time on YouTube. And by my count, we are looking at, let me check. We are looking at another 25,000 views on X. That is unbelievable. That is legitimately unbelievable. We're looking at 80,000 views for AEW Dynasty's post show. That is fucking crazy. So thank you guys very much for all the support. There were a lot of juicy clips from that. All truthful, though. So if the sickos hate me for whatever reason this morning, you really can't, because I know each and every fucking one of you is in denial, and you hated that shit just as much as we hated that shit. If you missed the unbelievable stream that Jesse and I conducted last night till 4 in the morning, make sure you guys go and check that out. Well worth your time, believe me. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. Solid Monster and I will be live tomorrow night. Episode 90 of Tuesday Night Titans, as we are coming up on 100 episodes. And we are 5 weeks away from the 1-year anniversary of the Solid Monster joining us as the host of Tuesday Night Titans. Super chats are open. Get them on in. You guys can support however you want via Super Chat, but I have to make this known because we'll be talking about it a little bit more in depth on Wednesday. Solid Monster and I were supposed to interview Jose the Assistant. He used to manage Andrade in AEW. He used to manage Roosh, Dralistico, LFI. We were supposed to do a 3-man podcast. This was me and Jason asking Jose questions, get to know who Jose is. And then scheduling conflicts arose. Jason couldn't do it because it's a very busy month for him this month. Jose had something come up during the time we were actually going to sit down and do it via podcast. And we're trying to get back on track. Jose is in Orlando, and I think I am going to take the leap. I got all the equipment anyway. I'm going to take the leap. And if you guys want to see this in person, tastefully done, the way that you know I operate, if you guys want to see a face-to-face interview with someone who knows all the inner workings of AEW and has a shit ton to say, someone who is on the verge of dropping a pipe bomb himself. If you guys want to see this, we're going to be setting up a goal on Wednesday for it to happen. To get Jose here, flight and hotel paid for. Don't know where we're doing it. I got to figure that out. But if you guys want to see that, man, I'm telling you right now, I'm fairly confident that if I do it the way that I need to, it is going to be an interview that blows up and exposes just a little bit of what AEW and the inner workings of AEW are all about. Just a little tidbit, a little tease. So if you guys want to see that happen, Super Chat is the best way to support that happening, as it would be my first Chris Van Vliet-like interview. I usually stay away from those type of things, man. I'm usually, like I said, very to myself. I like to be in front of my CGI bar. Very to myself, but if you guys want to see that happen, Super Chats are the way to make that happen, man. And tonight's show, once again, is sponsored by Turtle Beach. Make sure you guys go get your headsets and other gaming accessories. TurtleBeach.com, code SCRIPTS at checkout, 10% off. I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the podcast right here on the Monday Night Raw Post Show on Off the Script. No. Jose does not have an NDA. Jose does not have an NDA. He's not going to burn the fucking house down, but there'll be enough there where people will talk. That's all I'll say. So if you guys want to see that happen, you guys know what to do. Super Chats are open. Let's get Jose here from Orlando. Monday night. We start things off with Io, Rhea, and Bianca. Triple threat match on the horizon here for the Women's World Championship. Adam Pearce oversees this segment. Got the championship on a podium. All three women come out. Adam Pearce is there, standing next to the podium with the championship. Adam Pearce, as he should, took responsibility for what happened last week with Bianca Belair not being able to do the duty of a referee and do her job and call it right down the middle. Pierce said he was wrong to think any of them could handle things like professionals. Pierce then announced to right the wrong. And he's going to make the WWE Women's Championship match at WrestleMania a triple threat match between Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. We knew this was happening. Not really a surprise. Pierce presented a contract for everyone in the ring to sign. Belair hopped on the microphone and said she would normally be mad that Rhea Ripley just walked in, did whatever she wanted, and now is added to the championship match at WrestleMania. These days, Belair said she's not mad, though, because she's not scared of Rhea Ripley. Belair said she will walk out of WrestleMania as the new WWE Women's Champion, and she will go through Ripley to get it. Man, they're really kind of lowballing Io Sky here, huh? Ripley started talking, and Belair told Ripley to shut her mouth, pushed the contract into Ripley's chest, telling her to sign the contract. Ripley threw the contract back at Belair. Io Sky tried to get in between them, and the women pushed her away. Io Sky was annoyed. She threw down her microphone. Adam Pearce stopped her and says, just sign the contract. I will take care of them. Io said, fuck that shit. She did a missile dropkick to Rhea Ripley off the top rope to Rhea's back, which then propelled her into Bianca Belair, and everything was left in chaos. Ripley, Belair were left lying as Io's music hit, and Sky left to end the segment. Not really much to do. Not really much else to do. Not many places to go but WrestleMania here. I think everybody kind of anticipated what was coming after what we got last week. Bianca, she did not do a good job calling that match, and it's all Adam Pearce's fault. So the first thing that he said tonight was that he is taking responsibility for making a mistake and now is going to add Rhea Ripley to the match so that this can get settled at WrestleMania. It's very simple, very cut and dry, and everybody should have anticipated this because it was telegraphed for weeks. I actually like it. I do. I think it's going to be a great match. You start to see Rhea and Bianca and them going at it a little bit more and more every single week. And I like that. WWE's got a money match there. I don't think either one of them are walking out as the champion. I do think that Io is going to retain the championship at WrestleMania. But WWE is setting something up potentially for SummerSlam between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, being that this will be the first year that SummerSlam takes place over 2 nights. So they're going to need some major matches for that show. And I do think that you're looking at one of them right here. We're going to get a tease of it. We're going to get a taste of it at WrestleMania. And moving on into the rest of the year, I do think if there is an Evolution, we could see some of that happen there as well. I know the rumor is Evolution in July, Evolution 2, and then SummerSlam. I do see this year being all about Rhea and Bianca. Rhea is very over. A lot of people are wondering why Bianca Belair is getting booed even in the United States. A lot of people thought it was just the European crowds who booed Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair came out wearing all black tonight. I don't know if that's signifying where she's going character-wise, but a lot of people are wondering, well, why are they booing Bianca and why are they not booing Rhea? Rhea is so over that it is now bleeding onto Bianca, and the fans are showing you who exactly they want. I can't blame them. Rhea is massively over. Bianca may be getting some blowback to this because a lot of people are pinpointing Bianca to be the one to blame here. I don't really know why you see that, because at the end of the day, if you want to go back to the very beginning as to how all this started, it was Rhea Ripley who is at fault and Rhea Ripley to blame. But people are now pointing the finger of blame at Bianca. Bianca, I do think, mixed with the fact that I think people are tired of Bianca, that they want something fresh and new for Bianca. That also could play a part in it. Or the simple fact that people may be looking at Bianca and the whole Jade and Naomi situation and the fact that she walked away from Naomi, and they're using that as a vehicle to boo Bianca, which I don't think a lot of people are thinking about. It may have nothing to do with Rhea. It may have nothing to do with the fans finding Bianca to be boring. It may have a lot to do with Bianca walking away from Naomi, and that is the reason why they are booing Bianca Belair. I haven't seen anybody really mention that, but that sounds logic, if you ask me. Sorry, folks. Let me, I got to do my nasal spray because after I just cried for 20 minutes, now I'm all stuffed up. So give me a sec. Having allergies is the worst. You know, I bought these Breathe Right strips that go over your nose. Something that I seen people promoting on Twitter. It's, I forgot what it is. It's like a magnetic strip that goes over your nose. I thought I was going to breathe a lot better. Clearly, that didn't work. So, I'm back to using fucking Afrin. I'm back to using Afrin, man. My trusty tag team partner, just like my grandpa. Fucking Afrin. Reason I can't breathe is because I'm pumping myself twice a day with this shit. I enjoyed the opening segment, but a lot of people need to start looking back at Bianca walking away from Naomi as the reason why Bianca could possibly be booed. Finn Balor, Penta, Dominik, and Braun Breaker. That has now been made official for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Another multi-person match. Not really all that excited with the multi-person affairs at WrestleMania, but what are we going to do, man? What are we going to do? Judgment Day were shown after this announcement was made official. Judgment Day were backstage with all of them in the clubhouse. Balor said it's best to have two members of their group in this Mania match. Balor noted how some think Dom doesn't have a killer instinct and is a loser. Things got weird. Balor walked away. Carlito stepped in and said he has Dominik Mysterio's back. We talked about this last week on TNT. Jason tends to think that, just like he said with Jey Uso, don't be shocked if Jey Uso walks out of the Royal Rumble with the victory. He said the same thing about Dominik Mysterio. Don't be surprised if Dominik Mysterio walks out of WrestleMania, the new Intercontinental Champion, because I know a lot of people are going to be looking at Penta walking away as the new champion because he's the new toy, he's the new star in town. Everybody loves Penta. I could see Dominik Mysterio winning the Intercontinental Championship because if they do have any interest in rebuilding the Judgment Day without Balor, I think Dominik Mysterio winning the Intercontinental Championship for the time being would probably be a good move. Short term, I don't see him as a long-term solution for the title, long-term plan with the title, but I do see Penta eventually getting that championship. And I do think that if they are going to rebuild the Judgment Day, that you start like that. Maybe at that point, they can get their old theme music back so they actually feel like a fucking group. So this match is now official. Fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Speaking of the Intercontinental Championship, Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, they open the show wrestling-wise as Lyra defends the title against Bayley. This was, in my honest opinion, the best Lyra Valkyria match of the year. It's probably the best match that she's had within her title reign so far. I don't know how many times she's defended the title. Maybe twice? Maybe? This was the second time, maybe? I think the first time, obviously, was against Ivy Nile. So within the reign, when she won it to now, this was her best match as Intercontinental Champion. Bayley, I thought this was Bayley's best match in the last 6 months. Now, the crowd indifference to both ladies is very, very loud. It is loud. It speaks volumes. Lyra doesn't get any reaction. Bayley is not getting the same reactions. I don't know what the plan is, but neither one of them are getting reactions. Hopefully after tonight, it's a nice jolt to the arm for Lyra Valkyria. So the fans towards the end of this thing, down the stretch, they really got involved with Lyra. The sense of urgency that we saw from both ladies at the end of the match was really, really good stuff. I don't know if it's going to be a complete turning point for Lyra, but I feel bad for when Lyra comes out, there's really no reaction. There is some reaction to her theme music. They do that little fucking woo to her theme music. That's about it. But there really is no reaction to Lyra, though she's very good at what she does. Bayley's been largely boring for a lot of this run, and it started when she wrestled Nia for the Women's Championship on Friday Night SmackDown. She didn't really do much of anything over there. No real story, no substantial story. She's kind of been floating in and out of things, just kind of looking for a place to belong. She did that thing with Roxanne Perez in NXT. That's great. I don't know why we didn't revisit that on the main roster. Roxanne got brought up, Iron Woman in the Royal Rumble. She was in the chamber, and then we haven't seen her from the Elimination Chamber. Where the fuck is she? A blue chip prospect, someone who calls herself the Prodigy, and we haven't seen her on television. Is there a reason for that? Sure, she's not factored into WrestleMania plans, but I don't really understand why you think that Liv and Raquel versus Lyra and Bayley at WrestleMania is better than starting and building a feud with Bayley and Roxanne. I don't get it. It's one of those things that really kind of befuddles me. Where is she? Are they saving her for after WrestleMania? Did they bring her up just to get her a piece of what's going on Monday night with no real WrestleMania plans? Hold her off until after WrestleMania? I don't fucking know. I don't know. This was a very good match, though. Clunky in some points. Not really the most fluid match. But all in all, for 15 minutes, this was really good. The two wrestled to start things out. Lyra got the best of Bayley for a little bit. Lyra rolled up Bayley for a 2 count. Match reset. Bayley then rolled through to pin Lyra. Kick out at a 2. Bayley then absolutely leveled Lyra in the face with a knee strike that snapped Lyra's head back. And it looked like she may have possibly busted an orbital bone or a nose. Thank God she was all right. She comes back. She bounced back with some pin attempts and only got 2 counts. Lyra worked what Pat McAfee started calling the Irish swing. It was a move that Lyra got on Bayley where she stretched Lyra out. It was like a pendulum swing type move. Lyra eventually got a 2 count out of this. She went to kick Bayley. Bayley moved and went to the outside. Lyra then landed a drop kick. A wrecking ball drop kick through the ropes onto Bayley. We go back inside. Lyra hit a crossbody from the top rope for a 2 count. We go to a commercial break. We come back from the break, and Bayley is working a half crab. They trade forearms after Lyra worked her way out of the submission. Bayley hit a neck breaker. Lyra fell to the outside. Bayley followed up with her own baseball slide. Lyra moved when Bayley went for a suicide dive, and all of this ended up with Bayley giving Lyra a Bayley to belly on the outside. Both wrestlers made it back in by a 9.5. Bayley lifted Lyra up. Lyra counted into this with an arm drag. Lyra landed the Nightwing. Bayley kicked out at Lyra's finish at a 2. Lyra lifted Bayley again. Bayley worked out of it, landed a stiff knee to Lyra's face again. Bayley placed Lyra on the top, went for a superplex, but Lyra fought out, lifted Bayley, and that didn't really go anywhere. Bayley came back with the sunset flip bomb into the corner. This was the second attempt on the sunset flip bomb. She botched the first one earlier in the match. Bayley kicked Lyra a few times, goes out to the apron. Lyra cut her off, dragged her back into the ring with the tornado DDT, fisherman suplex combo, and she got a near fall out of it. Lyra went to the top rope, Bayley caught Lyra and worked a Boston Crab. This is when the crowd really started getting into what the ladies were doing. It took fucking 12 minutes to get there, but we finally got there. The Boston Crab got everybody into it because it looked like Lyra was about to tap out and we may be getting a new champion. Crowd woke up. Bayley had the title won, but Lyra did not give up. Bayley ended up letting go of the hold because she realized that Lyra was not going to tap out. She set it for the Rose Plant, but out of the Rose Plant, Lyra rolled Bayley up for a fluky flash pin and the 1, 2, 3. Lyra retains the championship, and after the match, she went for a handshake. Bayley did not want to shake Lyra's hand, and she brushed Lyra away. She gets back into the ring. She's looking at the Intercontinental Championship. She goes in to hug Lyra, and they embrace, knowing that on Friday, they have a tag team gauntlet match to win, where they both could get onto the WrestleMania card and wrestle for the Women's Tag Team Championships against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I don't know how you guys feel. I mentioned this about Bianca several times over the past 6 months. I'm going to say it in regards to Bayley. Can't turn everybody heel at the same time. I don't think Bianca is going to go heel imminently, but I do think that there is going to be a true chosen one when the fans really voice their opinions. They're going to go Rhea over Bianca, and the fans may force WWE's hand. The fans may force Bianca's hand. Bayley is so much better as a heel. The babyface thing with Bayley has not done anything. She's cringy. She's soft. She is not really a good representation of what she used to be. I just feel like she's just there. She just exists. Great. She's very good. Hall of Famer. One of the best ever. But if I was to tell you that Bayley is not where she needs to be right now, I know a lot of people in that fan base would probably agree with me. Although Bayley did some tremendous heel work. And I do think that Bayley eyeing the championship and Bayley being this good friend to Lyra is an invitation to turn her heel easily and give her a fresh coat of paint that she so desperately needs. I think that would be great. I don't know if that's the working plan. I don't know if that's the vision here, but this is telegraphed as Bayley befriending Lyra, ultimately getting upset with Lyra and turning on Lyra. That could be exactly what Lyra needs as well. Someone as dastardly and evil as Bayley using her only to then turn on her, which that's exactly what Lyra needs because that's what she doesn't have right now. It's missing. She doesn't have a heel, a dastardly heel that you hate to really work off of so that she could benefit from some of that emotion from the fan base. That's what's missing. WWE is yet to provide Lyra with any of that. So we'll see what happens there, but this was the best match that Lyra had in her title run so far. This was the best Bayley match in 6 months, and I thought this was excellent. A lot of people were crying that, why didn't they do this at WrestleMania? I don't fucking know. I'm not Paul Levesque. I don't book the show. Do you really want another match at WrestleMania that doesn't really have any real story or any real emotion into it? You just want a wrestling match just for the sake of a wrestling match at WrestleMania? At that point, you're no better than Tony Khan. Stop. Not everybody needs to be on WrestleMania. Not everything needs to be on WrestleMania. Just like we are trying to get the point across for Tony Khan that not everything needs to take place on pay-per-view, and these fucking shows don't need to be 13 matches long. Save some shit for television and make the television shows matter. Kathy Kelly. She interviewed... I know I've seen him before. I have not seen any of his work. I'm going to butcher his name. Bert Kreischer. Never seen any of his stand-up. He was not the only comedian on this show tonight, but Chad Gable interrupted him. Otis then walked in and ripped his shirt off. Kreischer did the same to himself, and Otis and him hugged and embraced. They shared gimmicks. Bert ripped off his shirt. Otis ripped off his shirt. They both share the same gimmicks. Great. WWE's parading around these celebrities as if they're fucking candy on Halloween. Enough. I get that everybody associated with Netflix needs to be promoted on Monday Night Raw that draws 3.5 million worldwide viewers every week. But, I mean, for a fan watching the show, it's a little cringy, bro. A little too much that happens so often. Jackie Redmond interviewed AJ Styles backstage and mentioned how Logan Paul did a lot of things last week. Jackie Redmond asked Styles where his head was at. Styles said it's in a good place because he'll get an opportunity to embarrass Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Karrion Kross showed up and asked AJ Styles to explain the situation to him. One thing, you guys, I want you to pick up on because I was clued in on this, and it's really interesting to see how Kross operates. It's what makes him so intriguing. Every time Kross is talking to a specific someone, in this example, AJ Styles, he wears his hair down, flowing, like AJ Styles does. Kross, when he was crossing paths with Sami Zayn, he had his hair up in a man bun, talking to Sami Zayn because that's the way Sami Zayn wears his hair. I don't know what the specifics of that means, but the mind games that Karrion Kross is playing and the way he's trying to get involved and be everybody's guidance on this show. He's like the good devil, bad devil type of character. Telling people the truth. Telling people what they don't want to hear to try and motivate them. He's like some weird motivational speaker. These little things you pick up on. I didn't notice that until I was clued in on that. I'm like, well, that makes things a lot more intriguing. I wonder what the inner workings of that are for Kross. But Karrion Kross showed up back Styles to explain the situation. Kross said he can't let Styles lose at Mania because if he loses, they all lose. It's a good way to look at it. Logan Paul is not one of them. If AJ Styles loses to Logan Paul, he embarrasses the locker room. Styles says he'll give Kross a taste of the better AJ Styles next week on Raw. So I like the message that Kross got across here to AJ Styles. And I like the fact that this set up Styles being so angry that he's going to prove a point to Karrion Kross next week. This is the first match in God knows how long that Karrion Kross is getting on Monday Night Raw in a one-on-one situation. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's presented, how he comes off. I doubt he wins because AJ's going into Mania, Kross is not, unless Logan Paul comes out and interferes and helps Kross win. But it's good to see Kross getting a match. How he's going to be presented is going to be something to look out for. And I know the rumor is that he's coming up on a contract year. Nobody knows where his mindset's at, if he wants to stay, if he wants to go. I know Triple H admires him and has brought him back for a reason. We haven't really seen that reason yet. Is Kross frustrated with his standing? Is Kross frustrated with what he's doing on television? If it's not enough, is he fulfilled creatively? I don't know. I don't really know where else he'd go. I mean, him going to AEW would be a fucking disaster. Nobody wants to see that. I think Kross is happy here. Kross wants to be here. I think if the WWE gives him something to do so that he grows into the guy that we know he could be, because we see it on social media, I want to see that Kross. Give the guy an opportunity to take what he's doing on social media and do it on the television show. If you see what he's doing on social and you apply it on the show, I guarantee you people will pick up on it and enjoy what the fuck he's doing. It's a match I'm going to pay attention to very closely next week on Monday Night Raw, and I'm glad that Kross is getting it. Oh, my goodness, man. You guys know how to come in and celebrate with us tonight. JD, so sorry for the loss of your close friend. I, myself, know all too well about loss, especially unexpected loss after losing both my parents in their 60s, 18 months apart. Cheers. OTS, here for you, bro. Life is about how hard you get hit. Keep moving forward. Cherish every day. Jeff with a $100 super chat. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, brother. And this one goes out to you guys and to our friend Kevin Castle tonight here on the podcast. American made. El Grande Americano. Julius Creed and Brutus Creed against the LWO. Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde. This went 10 minutes. This was a very good TV match. You know, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde are very good at what they do. If they gave them any sort of personality and any sort of character within the LWO instead of being the lackeys for Rey Mysterio, they could be a great tag team in the division. I don't really understand why WWE's got these great talents like Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, and they just keep them in the shadows of like a Rey Mysterio, and they don't really bring their talents to the forefront in any meaningful way. If they gave these guys a fucking reason, they gave these guys a meaning outside of what we usually see, you'd be surprised what they could possibly do. They'd get over in front of the audience. You get to hear who they are, what they're about. You get to hear them speak. You get to hear their cadence, feel their emotion. You don't really see any of that. They're just the LWO. They're known as Rey Mysterio's guys. But here they are. And some of the shit that they did tonight, the shit that they did wowed some of this bored, lifeless Minnesota crowd. El Grande Americano's got some great theme music, man. Chad Gable is a fucking master of his craft. He really is. A lot of people may look at it as cringy. A lot of people may look at it as Chad Gable deserves better. Listen, all the greats went through this type of stuff. This is not Shorty G. This is not anywhere close to being as bad as Shorty G. Shorty G was demoralizing. Shorty G was Vince basically telling everybody what he thought of Chad Gable. He was short and not going to really amount to anything. All the greats went through it. All of them. Kurt Angle went through it. Steve Austin went through it. I find this to be entertaining. And I like this going into WrestleMania. There is a story there that is easy to follow. Is it the great story that we all want for Chad Gable? No, it's not. But it's a story. It's simple to follow. It's fun. And it's going to result in a banger WrestleMania match. So I don't know what the problem is. I enjoy it. That's just me speaking personally. I enjoy it. And I know a lot of other people enjoy Grande Americano. It's not my favorite Starbucks order. It's only espresso and hot water. Kind of boring. But Grande Americano is great. The Creeds are great. Another tag team in WWE that I feel is going to just break out. I don't know when that is. They are too good, man. And they're so young, too. There's a lot of growing and maturing and molding that needs to happen there. But you see it. You see it so early on. Brutus grounded Del Toro to start the match. Big shoulder block. Julius tagged in Del Toro. Or tagged in and Del Toro hit an arm drag before tagging out to his partner, Joaquin Wilde. Wilde spun Julius around with his legs. Went for a big arm bar. But that led to things breaking down, and all six of these guys on the outside brawled. The LWO stood tall and hit a dive. 1, 2, 3 of them onto their opponents on the outside. Back in the ring, the LWO trio went to separate top ropes. The heels cut them off and landed a series of superplexes, and the show goes into a commercial break. Joaquin Wilde dove off the top rope and got some serious air, which really popped the crowd and popped Pat McAfee. Oh, that was later in the match. I'm sorry. I put that ahead. That was later in the match. We'll get to that. So we got to commercial break. We come back from the break. Julius was working over Dragon Lee. Two fought out onto the second rope. Lee turned things around with a big double stomp. Del Toro received a hot tag. Brutus tagged in at the same time. And Del Toro ran over both American-made with a series of moves. He's firing himself up. Del Toro briefly stopped to throw his shirt into the crowd. He is no Angel Garza with the pants, but he threw his shirt into the crowd. After that, Del Toro kept up the momentum. Grande Americano got involved. Dragon Lee tagged in. So now we got the two masked luchadors going at it. Americano got up and went face-to-face with Dragon Lee. Powerbombed Americano down to the ground. Julius appeared out of nowhere for a shooting star press on Dragon Lee. Joaquin Wilde then jumped like fucking 50,000 feet in the air. He was unbelievably high up in the air, and he took out American Made on the outside. Wilde followed that up with a corkscrew dive, which looked beautiful. This is why I said you let them be a little bit more than what they are. They got the makings of a great tag team. Ivy Nile gave Grande Americano something to put into his mask. And Americano headbutted Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee intervened. This led to Grande Americano headbutting Dragon Lee with a loaded mask, and he hits a diving headbutt. Gee, that looks very familiar there, Grande Americano. Complete with the steel plate in his mask from the top rope on Dragon Lee. 1, 2, 3, and Grande Americano is victorious here on Monday Night Raw. I thought this was fun. Really good stuff. We got a great women's match to start the show with Bayley and Lyra, which is surprising because Lyra really doesn't get much reaction when she's out there. We got the open of the show with the ladies and their triple threat match set up. And we got this trios match, which obviously was a precursor and a setup for what we were about to get later in the show with Rey Mysterio saying, enough is enough of this shit. I'm tired of my Lucha Libre background being disrespected. I want Grande Americano in a match. I thought this was very simple and effective, and it set up what we're getting at WrestleMania. Good stuff. Fun tag team match. So the first hour of Monday Night Raw was really good. Really good wrestling. Set things up and set things in motion for WrestleMania. Then we get Gunther and Jey Uso. After last week's tremendous segment, Jey Uso, he had to watch his brother get beaten to a bloody pulp on Monday Night Raw by Gunther. Gunther looked like a scene out of The Walking Dead. He smeared Jimmy's blood all over his body. The AEW sickos were crying hypocrisy without really knowing what that really means. Oh, but you liked Gunther making Jimmy bleed and smearing blood all over Gunther's body. But you had a problem with AEW doing it at Revolution. Gee, AEW sicko idiot. When was the last time you saw Gunther make someone bleed? When was the last time you saw Gunther dressed in someone's blood before? I can't remember when. Do you guys know when? On AEW, it's a quarterly occurrence. Nightly. It's not the same. Stop comparing. One does it gracefully when it matters. The other just abuses it to a point where it doesn't mean much of anything anymore. Gunther comes out, all smiles, laughing. He's relishing in his work from last week. Gunther stood on the commentary table, held up his title. He did a lot of that when he was the IC champion. I missed that. Gunther was given a microphone on the outside of the ring, and Gunther then entered the ring. Chants of, we want Jey, we want Jey. Gunther didn't say anything. Jey Uso comes on out. The arena starts to barely yeet because it's Minnesota. I don't know what the fuck is in the water in Minnesota, but they don't like to have fun in Minnesota, apparently. This was the weakest yeeting that I've seen from any crowd in about 9 months. Minnesota, thank you. Jey Uso's music hits. He walked through the crowd, not yeeting. He did not yeet. Check. He looked angry. Check. Gunther smiled in the ring and took off his suit jacket. Gunther rolled up his sleeves as if Uso was about to fight. He wanted to be ready. Uso entered the ring. He wore all black. He continued to look angry. Gunther stood there giggling, smiling, and not taking him serious, relishing in his work, laughing about the art he created last week with Jimmy's blood. Uso knocked the microphone out of Gunther's hand. Crowd oohed and awed. Uso took off his black Yeet sunglasses. Uso spoke in this cadence where he stopped every couple of words. He didn't really run on with a consistent promo. He does this thing where he says a couple of things and then stops. I'm going to see you, Us, at WrestleMania for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Instead of running on with consecutive words, he stops and pauses every 2 or 3 words, like he's an AI program on Adobe Premiere, and it's just a couple of words on screen when you go to use captions for your TikTok videos. It's all right to speak in a normal cadence and sound like a human being, bro. If there was one takeaway from this promo, it's the fact that Jey Uso has this stop and start way that he does promos. Is it bad? Jey Uso's not a bad promo. He's not. But I do think it could be a little tighter. Tighten it up a little bit. Speak normally, like you and me are having a discussion, and cut a proper promo and portray the right emotion. Gunther, smiling, giggling, laughing about what he did to Jimmy Uso. Gunther starts to look confused because Uso asked him if Gunther had a mom. Gunther looked very confused. Uso then asks Gunther if he talks to his mom, and asks Gunther if he does, what do they talk about? Do you talk about family stuff? How's the wife? How's the grandson? You know, I got a mother too, and I had to tell my mom that her son is in a hospital bed. Uso said Jimmy got 15 stitches in the head. Uso said his mom asked, Jay, why didn't you protect him, Joshua? So he's using his mother now in this promo, and he's dropping his real life name. Jimmy's name, Joshua. Jay says he wasn't going to lie to his mom, and he told her it was because he was afraid of Gunther. Jay said Gunther was playing chess while he was playing checkers. But it wasn't enough for Gunther. Gunther had to get Jay's family involved, and Jay said, and he recalled how he watched Gunther wipe his brother's blood all over his body. Jay said he never felt so hopeless, so helpless, pissed off. Jay then started yelling at Gunther and said he violated his twin in front of him, and it made his heart stop. Jay said in his darkest moment, a light bulb went off. Jay said he realized he's not afraid of Gunther no more. Then we start getting, Jay is Joshua. I'm sorry, Jimmy's John. Sorry, Hellfire Kai. Thank you for the correction. Yes, his mother said, why didn't you help him, Joshua? There you go. Sorry for the confusion. At this point, when Jay is really going off on Gunther, saying he's not afraid of him anymore, crowd starts yeeting. Fans don't know any better. They want to have fun. They want to chant along with the performers. You know, there's a time and a place to yeet. I don't think this was the time and the place to yeet. I don't. Jay said before WrestleMania he's going to lay his head down and say a proper prayer for Gunther, and he's going to ask the Lord to forgive him for the man he's about to become. Jay said at WrestleMania he's going to get Gunther for himself, for his brother Jimmy, and for the whole damn family. Jay said he's going to walk into WrestleMania and take the World Heavyweight Championship. Jay left the ring, threw the microphone. No yeeting involved in this segment, as Gunther didn't even say a word. What did he need to say? What did Gunther need to say here? He didn't need to say anything. Gunther did enough for himself. Gunther got the point across where with one Raw left, there really isn't anything more for Gunther to add. He did what he did to Jimmy, and that was enough. Jay is the one we need to hear that anger from. We need to hear that babyface promise from Jey Uso. You know, a lot of people have claimed that Jey Uso can't cut a promo. Is Jey a top-tier promo in WWE? No. No, he's not. When the Usos are together, they are. I think Jimmy is a better promo than Jey. But a lot of people are like, oh, Jey can't cut a promo. Jey, all he does is yeet. All he is a theme music. I thought Jey cut a very good promo here. I thought Jey cut a promo that was much needed tonight. And Jey checked off all the boxes. He didn't come out smiling. He didn't come out yeeting. He didn't come out playing up to the crowd. He addressed Gunther. He asked Gunther the hard-hitting questions. He asked Gunther about his family and what he does and asks his family, and applied it to his family and played off the story about what his mother told him in regards to Jimmy. And Jey relayed that message back to Gunther. We may be in for a bloodbath at WrestleMania, folks. It's going to be a match that is going to be emotional, with a moment that is going to crown a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and Jey Uso is going to win the big one. WWE realizes that this match needs to be the best match that Jey Uso has ever had as a singles performer in WWE. I'm not worried about Gunther. I'm not worried about Gunther whatsoever. Gunther does not have bad matches. He's going to bring Jey to the best match possible. Triple H has already looked Gunther in the eyes and said, boss man, listen, I'm going to need you to go out there and make our guy look the very best he could possibly be. Can you do that? Gunther said, Chief, don't worry about it. I got you covered. That's exactly what's going to happen. Jey Uso silenced a lot of people with his promo tonight, and I think Jey Uso is going to silence those critics at WrestleMania. Now, I could be sitting here on April 20th, April 19th, whenever the match takes place, and I could be absolutely dead wrong. Match could be a fucking stinker. It could bomb. But that's how much trust as a fan I have in Gunther. Gunther does not have bad matches. It's not going to be a bad match. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be just as bad as Jimmy and Jey was last year. No, it's not. No, it's not. You can dead that situation right now. This is going to be the best match of Jey's career. It needs to be. Gunther knows that. Jey knows that. Triple H knows that. Bruce Pritchard knows that. Michael Hayes knows that. They all know it. It's going to be a great moment. I do think that they're banking on the moment more than anything, but hopefully everything else comes together that makes that moment even greater. Natalya. Yes, I understand that everybody's going to be thinking super kicks and a shit spear. I get it. I know. You are not wrong to think that. I think Jey knows that. I think everybody that I just mentioned knows that. Natalya and Maxine Dupree were shown talking to Adam Pearce backstage, and Rey Mysterio walked in. Apparently, Maxine and Natalya are a thing. They're in this tag team gauntlet match on Friday, in which they will not win. Rey Mysterio walked in angry, said Grande Americano is making a mockery of everything he's ever loved, everything that he's ever worked for in his career in regards to Lucha Libre. Rey Mysterio said he wanted to face Grande Americano at WrestleMania. Adam Pearce says it is official. Adam Pearce makes Rey Mysterio versus Grande Americano official at WrestleMania. All I am waiting for is a mask versus mask match. I do think we end up getting that. Because what fun would this be if Grande Americano is not unmasked? This is where Twitter melted down because of their political beliefs here. Tony Hinchcliffe joined commentary at the desk for the upcoming match with the New Day. He's hosting the roast of WrestleMania, which will not be televised, but everybody's having a fucking stroke on social media because they don't like Tony Hinchcliffe for whatever reason. Sorry, folks, he just got a new Netflix series. Take it up with the fucking higher-ups at Netflix. Did I mind him being on commentary? No, I didn't. Did he take away from this tag team title match? No. No, he did not. The New Day, I don't know what they're doing at WrestleMania. They have 1 week still left to go, and they don't have much of anything. I don't know what the plan was for the New Day. Here we were 4 weeks ago talking about, Penta and Rey Fenix and Rey Mysterio versus Grande Americano and the New Day. I thought they were going with something like that. I mean, for weeks, Rey Mysterio and the New Day had this tension. And then all of a sudden that was dropped. I don't know what's going on with the New Day. The Big E thing, the momentum died 4 weeks after that heel turn, which was so tremendous. And then they started doing the thing with Rey Mysterio, and we started getting them battling the LWO, and they had this tension with Rey Mysterio. That seemingly was dropped out of nowhere. Everybody started pitching ideas for the New Day and Grande Americano versus the LWO or the Lucha Libre crew, Penta, Phoenix, and Rey Mysterio. I mean, that would have been tremendous. That would have been tremendous. But now we're looking at things not really ending up that way. Penta's in the IC title match. Phoenix is on SmackDown. Grande Americano's wrestling Rey Mysterio. And the New Day got nothing. What are the New Day doing at WrestleMania? Is this it? Is this it? Was this their way to get the New Day and the War Raiders on the WrestleMania card? Flat, dead, lifeless tag team title match that nobody cares about? This is another group of guys, and the War Raiders, love them. They get no reaction. Zero reaction. I don't know why. They looked the part. They're a great tag team. They got their old NXT Black and Gold theme music back. I remember when they used to walk into the takeover shows. I remember when they used to walk into Full Sail University. People were chanting war, war. It was like I was at a fucking Exodus concert. What happened? Do people really not give a shit that much about the War Raiders? Not like WWE's done them any favors. I mean, they won the titles and then they were promptly taken off television not to really do anything with the tag team title. So how could we get behind a team that's not really even being featured? You're not featuring them because there's no fucking division. At this point, they've wrestled everybody in the division. What are we doing to alleviate that problem? What are we doing to solve it? The tag team divisions on both shows seem to be an eyesore all the time. There should be a constant flow of tag team wrestling on this show, especially with your champions who you're not featuring. It's a problem. New Day, win by disqualification. Ivar and Kingston started the match. Kingston quickly rolled to the outside after Ivar got the upper hand here. Woods tagged in, teased getting into the ring until Kingston distracted Eric. Woods and Kingston beat him down for a little bit. Eventually, Eric regained control, slammed Kingston and Woods down simultaneously. Eric body slammed Ivar onto Kofi. Woods was thrown outside and Woods grabbed the chair, but Eric cut him off with a big punch. Ivar worked over Kingston on the outside, and we go into a commercial break. After coming back from the break, steel chairs got involved, and the War Raiders were disqualified because of the chairs. Kofi, I believe, brought in a chair. Ivar took the chair away, and behind the referee's back, which he thought was turned, that was not the case because he swung the chair thinking the referee wouldn't see it, nailed Kofi with the chair. The referee saw it, DQ'd Ivar, but it wasn't Ivar who brought the chair into the match. It was the New Day who had this plan to cheat, and the referee disqualified the War Raiders. So they were DQ'd. After the match, the New Day set up Eric and ran him into a chair, perched into the corner. The heels then sent Ivar into the timekeeper's area. Woods grabbed another chair, and the New Day went to work on Eric's surgically repaired neck. Officials ran out to stop Kofi from coming off the top rope onto Eric's neck to Pillmanize his neck, which was draped with the chair. I'm sorry, folks. I wish I could care. I really do. I don't know what you want me to say outside of what I've already detailed to you about the lacking tag team division that we have on Monday night. They're not doing any of these guys any favors, and creatively, they have both been dropped badly. I don't know what's going on. Something needs to be done very, very quickly. Penta. He wrestled Dominik Mysterio one-on-one here. Match went 8 minutes. This was a very predictable outcome. Nobody expected Penta, after him suffering a pinfall loss last week, Nobody expected Penta to be pinned again. So the outcome was never in question. Penta defeated Dominik Mysterio here, one-on-one. Both of these men will be in the Intercontinental Championship title match at WrestleMania, along with Finn Balor and Braun Breaker, making it a fatal four-way. Dominik had control early. He was on the second rope. Penta ultimately came back with a backbreaker, sling blade. Penta went to the top, landed a big crossbody on Dominik. Carlito, he also got taken out, who was on the outside. We go to a commercial break after Penta dove on top of Carlito. Cool. The show came back from commercial. Penta jumped into a kick from Dominik, who then landed the Three Amigos. He goes for a cover, he gets a 2 count. Dominik drop kick Penta, set up for a 619, but instead ran into a super kick from Penta. Penta landed a double stomp onto Dom in the corner. Dominik got the shoulder up at a 2. Penta went for his finisher, but Dom countered and hit a destroyer on Penta. Feel like we've seen how many destroyers between Dynasty and Monday Night Raw. Dominik hit the 619, went for the frog splash. Penta got his knees up, and he blocked the 619 complete. Penta tried for the pin. Dominik got out of it, went for a clothesline. Penta took Dom down. He hit the sacrifice, the arm breaker, and then the Penta driver for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Carlito attacked Penta, backstabber and all. Braun Breaker's music hit. Carlito, like an absolute fool, tried to intimidate Braun Breaker, who was walking stoically out of the back and stood at the top of the aisleway. Carlito, I don't know what the fuck possessed him, but Braun Breaker said, all right, man, you want to fuck shit up? Let's do it. Braun Breaker ran like a Tyrannosaurus Rex breaking out of Jurassic Park down the aisleway and legitimately fucking Mortal Kombat fatality'd Carlito in the aisleway with a spear that, if you go on WWE's X account, you'll see what I'm talking about. An absolutely fucking animalistic savagery of a spear that this was. Sounds like to me they're setting up. Looks like to me they're setting up the Battle of the Spears, man. If Braun Breaker hits that type of spear on Goldberg, can you imagine how bright Braun Breaker's star is going to be after he retires? Goldberg. What a fucking spear that was, huh? Oh, my goodness. So he gets into the ring. He did the same thing to Dirty Dom. Or just Dom. I don't even think they're calling him Dirty anymore. Remember, WWE eliminated those corny nicknames from the roster on WWE.com. No more Dirty Dom. No more Seth freaking Rollins. He did the spear to Penta as well. So not only did he spear Carlito, but he did it to Dom and Penta as well. Balor appeared out of nowhere, and he tried to take out Braun. Balor picked up the IC title, held it high in the air. Braun tried to spear Balor, but Balor rolled out of the ring. He knew better. He knew better. Should be an entertaining match. I just don't really care for all the multi-person matches taking place at WrestleMania. I found it to be creatively lazy. But here we are. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. This was easily the best thing on the entire show. Heyman, Rollins. Heyman was out there first. This was obviously after the SmackDown segment where he promised CM Punk he would walk him to the ring at WrestleMania. After Roman said, Wiseman, tell this guy off easy. Tell him that this guy is losing his mind, that it's not going to happen. Paul Heyman made a promise many, many years ago. Okay, we'd walk CM Punk down the aisle if he ever main evented WrestleMania. And they brought that now to present day. Love it. There's no better storyteller in all pro wrestling right now than CM Punk. Heyman's in the ring. Heyman did his regular introduction. Heyman launched right into what he had to say and said he will always be loyal to his tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Heyman said he will always be loyal to his best friend in the world, CM Punk. Heyman said just because he is loyal to both of them, it doesn't mean he will ever be disloyal to either one of them. Heyman said when it comes to WrestleMania, he wanted to get one thing perfectly clear, and then that's when Seth Rollins, his music comes, hits on the PA system, and he walks down the aisle. Rollins grabbed the microphone. He went right up to Paul Heyman before screaming Minneapolis at the top of his lungs. Rollins welcomed everybody to Monday Night Rollins. Tonight, it's not about me, because tonight is about Paul Heyman. Rollins called Heyman out for talking about loyalty and asked Heyman, whose side is Heyman on? Rollins had a really great, direct, knowledgeable, let's dig up some shit from the past and bring it to present day type promo. Rollins asked Heyman if he will be the very best friend to CM Punk that he thinks he is, or if he will be the wise man to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Rollins said Heyman is trying to convince everyone he can do both at the same time, but it occurred to Rollins that Heyman is neither of these things. Rollins took off his sunglasses and started to get serious. He told Paul Heyman that Roman Reigns doesn't give a damn about you. Rollins said Reigns uses Heyman, and he said Reigns doesn't respect Paul Heyman. Rollins brought up WrestleMania last year and said Reigns lost his title thanks to you-know-who, because he was the Shield to Cody Rhodes. Rollins noted how Reigns left Heyman after Mania last year. He disappeared into the ether, and he left Heyman in the hands of Solo Sikoa, who did not treat Paul Heyman well. Rollins said everyone wondered when someone would come and save Heyman, and brought up how Reigns did not come to save Heyman. Instead, he got massacred in his hometown in front of his children as Solo Sikoa and his bloodline powerbombed him through a table at Madison Square Garden. All of these things that Rollins said are factual. All of these things Paul Heyman may want to not agree with. But that doesn't mean they didn't happen. They absolutely happened. Rollins said CM Punk, your best friend in the world, was also not there to save you. Rollins called out Heyman and said, Punk walked out on everybody in WWE, and you included in that. Rollins said Punk tried to tear down everything Heyman created while he was in WWE. He talked about how Punk and Heyman loved to reminisce about war games. Rollins brought up the fact that Punk was not the first choice to join the bloodline at war games. Instead, it was Rollins twice, and Rollins declined the invitation for the very reason why he's explaining to Paul Heyman now. A lot of people are going to look at that and overlook that aspect of what Rollins is trying to convey here. That may be one of the most important things that Rollins said all night. It wasn't Punk who was asked first. Everybody's Lord and Savior here. The hypocrite that returned to WWE after trying to fucking kill this company from the outside. This is my home. Now you want me to help Roman Reigns at War Games. Do you know what we went through? You want me to help Roman Reigns. You want me to help him get back everything that we took from him at WrestleMania because he needs it back? He wants it back? Who do you take me for? Rollins was never going to allow that to happen. But he wants Paul Heyman to know that they asked him first to do it, not Punk. And when Punk was asked, the last choice was Punk. Punk only did it because he knew he could get a favor out of Paul Heyman. That's why he sat with you and Roman and agreed to work War Games. Rollins said Punk loves nobody but himself, and he is not Heyman's best friend. Rollins said he feels bad for Heyman because he is between a rock and a hard place. He said it would be easier if Heyman just removed himself from this equation and let us three, Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, battle it out for the soul of this industry. Rollins wondered aloud about ways to remove Heyman from this situation. He told Heyman it would be for his own good. Rollins says he would take privilege to remove Heyman from this situation right here, right now. Rollins started getting a little bit more sadistic in his vocal tones. He said it would be quick. It would be quick and easy. One stomp, one quick stomp, and it's all over. Rollins said nobody was there to save Paul Heyman tonight. Reigns wasn't there. CM Punk, who knows where he is. Rollins asked Heyman how much he was worth and slightly pushed Paul Heyman like a bully in the schoolyard. Rollins asked Heyman how much was he worth again and slapped Paul Heyman across the face lightly, not too vicious, lightly, like peppered him. Rollins pushed Heyman repeatedly. Heyman finally stood up for himself and he yelled, "Don't put your damn hands on me again." Heyman threw his microphone, and Rollins pie-faced Heyman. Started shoving him into a corner, and this is when CM Punk's music hit, and Punk ran out and started a brawl with Rollins. Punk and Rollins started brawling to the outside. He threw Rollins into the ringside stairs. Punk put Rollins' head on the ring steps and wanted to deliver the stomp, but Punk did not get that chance. Rollins moved, and Punk rolled into the ring where Rollins, he was quick with a stomp of his own. Delivered the stomp to Punk, knocked him out. Heyman immediately saw Punk on the ground, went over to lie next to Punk. He went to go tend to Punk. Rollins set up the stomp in the corner, rushed at Heyman, tried to deliver the stomp. Heyman moved. Seth Rollins pulled back, grabbed the microphone, and said, "That close. Now it is you that owes me a favor." The show ended with Rollins standing tall, and Heyman looked confused at Rollins. Are they bringing in another favor to the situation because Rollins spared Heyman? He spared Heyman. He is allowing Heyman to walk Punk into WrestleMania when he had every opportunity to take that away from Heyman and CM Punk tonight, but he didn't. Why? Is he trying to convince Paul Heyman that everything that's happened up until this point, he's right on? I love the heels in WWE. They always try to portray how right they are. In this case, Rollins is right. He didn't really tell any lies here. He didn't. But is Paul Heyman going to realize that? Is Paul Heyman going to know that? Is Paul Heyman going to help Rollins win because of what Rollins said here tonight? Is it going to resonate enough where Paul Heyman's going to get pissed off so much, especially if something happens on that night one main event? Is he going to help Rollins get the victory over Punk and Reigns? Is Paul Heyman going to now align himself with Seth Rollins? I kind of got a feel for that, but I don't think that's the right move. I don't think they're eventually going to do that. Why would they do that? I don't see that. I don't think Heyman needs that. I don't think Heyman wants that. I don't think Rollins needs that. I don't. What I do get out of this is that Punk is not winning and Reigns is not winning. Punk is there. He got his main event and he's not going to win. Reigns is there. This is his 11th main event. He doesn't need to win. I do think that Rollins ends up pinning Punk, and I think Rollins gets the victory over CM Punk at WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to pin Roman. I just don't see it. I think Rollins pins Punk, and I think Rollins gets the victory in the night one main event. But I love this. I thought everything that they said here was factually on point with what we have been seeing so far. I do think that Rollins made a lot of valid points. I do think that Rollins, in his address to Paul Heyman, it's very difficult for Paul Heyman to listen to Seth Rollins and say that Rollins is wrong. I thought this was excellent. It really gives the main event even more emotion, even more of a cliffhanger, and now even more of a what's going to happen, because not only did Punk ask for a favor, he got his WrestleMania main event. That's not the favor. I want you to walk with me into WrestleMania as my Wiseman. He's got that now. What is Rollins asking for? What is Rollins asking for? Rollins told Heyman everything he needed to know. Now it's up to Paul Heyman to make a choice. Both of these guys don't care about you. I'm not saying Rollins cares about Paul Heyman, but is Paul Heyman going to be in the corner of Rollins and CM Punk at all? I don't know. Maybe the favor is just don't show up. Maybe it's not necessarily, hey, stand in my corner. Hey, help me win over these two guys. Don't betray them. Just don't show up. They don't want you. They don't care about you. Why show up? That's the favor. We don't need you. Remove yourself from the situation. That is the favor. But will Paul Heyman listen? More than likely not. He is the centerpiece to this drama right now between Punk, Rollins, and Reigns. Thank you guys very much for all of your supports. Shout out to Turtle Beach tonight for sponsoring the show. Make sure you guys go and get your Stealth 700 headset and any other gaming accessories via Turtle Beach, turtlebeach.com. Make sure you guys use that code SCRIPT at checkout to save 10% off your purchase. I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the podcast right here on the Monday Night Raw Post, right here on Off the Script. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Super chats. Oh, my goodness. We got to stop this. We got to stop this. We got to stop this. Oh, my goodness, man. My guy, my brother Osakwi, $500 super chat. My wife's grandfather passed away yesterday, so things are a little busy on this side. But I needed to hop on and show my love. I'm so sorry for your loss, brother. What you shared tonight came from your soul and was a beautiful tribute to Kevin. My number's in your DM. If you ever need a friend, ever, you call me. If there's a GoFundMe, let me know. I'm sure the entire Don Tony and Kevin Castle family, I'm sure everybody in that camp greatly appreciates that, brother, and I'm terribly sorry for your wife's grandfather passing away. Thank you very much. That means the world to me. I'm very lucky and very fortunate to have you on my team here. You've done more than I could ever repay you for. And I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you so very much. I know we'll be back to business on Tuesday with Jason tomorrow on Tuesday Night Titans. Right now, you know, my mind is not really into the whole pro wrestling thing right now. So hopefully I delivered a review that is still worthy of the quality that you get on this show, on this side of things. But thank you, brother. I love you, man. Thank you. And I appreciate you being there for whenever I need you. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man. We're on to some big things this year. I'm trying to make things happen, man. I am. I need to. Wherever you can find me, man. TikTok, Twitter. You guys know the socials. Everything is linked down below. Leave me a comment down below. Helps us out in the algorithm. If you guys knew Kevin, if you guys were a fan of DT and Kevin Castle, let me know down in the comments how long you've been listening to them, what your favorite moment was, what he meant to you, what the show meant to you. And let's keep those super chats coming on in, man. Great way to support the show. Michael Cross with a $2 super chat. Great Monday, JD. OTS, how's everybody today? Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Thomas Franco with 15 months. Thank you for being here, Thomas. Arcade the Hedgehog with a $5 super chat. Hey, JD, I believe you said AEW has a lot of pages, but it doesn't have any stories written on them. But I was talking about Saraya page. Yeah, I realized that, Arcade. I realized that after the show was over. Josh Carlos 98 with a $4.99. JD, I saw you comment on YouTube about Warbringer's newest song. Great band. What are your favorites by them? I have been nonstop listening to the new album, Josh. I think Sword in the Cross, the first song off of their new album, that is a tremendous piece of business. And that's the type of stuff that I would share with Kev, because I knew he was a fan of that type of stuff. As soon as that song came out, I'm like, he was one of three people I had to show. Like, bro, listen to this. Just brings me back to the old school fucking classic thrash days, man. That song is a tremendous piece of business. Thank you, Josh. Michael Krause with the 2. Every Monday, Seth has some very funny shoes. You know, I didn't really notice. I thought, let me hear what this guy has to say, man. I didn't even realize what he was wearing, what shoes he was wearing, what jacket he was wearing, his glasses. His words mattered most tonight, and that's all that matters to me. Andy Suppers with 17 months. Twists and turns and favors. Now this favor meant to be. I don't know. I think WrestleMania is going to end up being special. The build might not have been where we wanted it to be, but I do think that they got some major surprises in store. Cody Snyder with a $10 super chat. 95% are saying Paul joins Seth at Mania. Then if it happens, every single person is going to be like I told you, even though almost everyone is saying it. I don't think so. I don't really like that idea. Why would he need that? Israel Garcia with the $4.99. Hey, JD, Io Sky was looking good as fuck. Seth has my attention. Burn it down. You know, a lot of people were looking at Io. I was looking at Bianca. I thought Bianca looked better than Io tonight. Michelle Moran with a 5. Seth got a little heelish there. Poor Paul will be owing everyone at this rate. What type of favor will Seth want? And who wins is a bigger mystery now. It is, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Nate with a $5 super chat. Did you see that? Izzy, the girl who dressed up as Hugger Bayley at NXT Black and Gold, just got a WWID match to join. Good for her. Congrats. Yeah. I remember coming across them at, I believe I was in Chicago, in Schaumburg. I attended one of the All Out shows. I forgot what year it was, but I came across her father. I think she was there. I'm pretty sure she was there. I came across her father, and her father came up to me and knew who I was. And he said, keep doing your thing, man. Love the shit. You know, love how outspoken you are. Yada, yada, yada. He was very kind to me. And that always stuck with me, too. So, yeah, I wish her nothing but the best, man. That's quite the story there. You know, if you guys have been following Black and Gold, you guys know me with Black and Gold, man. She was a big fixture in Black and Gold. She was there every fucking show. So to see her to where she is now, man, that's quite the full circle moment, honestly. You know? And if she gets, and I'm sure she will, any further than where she is right now with the WWID program, man, that story with Bayley is going to fucking slap. I mean, that's a built-in story right there. Easy. Nate, thank you, brother. Michael Krause for the 2. R.I.P. Kevin. Hardy Punk, $2 super chat. Pierce felt Usi. GM prioritized talent over drinks. Jay Everington with a 10. Had a dream. Dave Meltzer was revealed as the higher power behind the Death Riders in AEW and main evented All In with Tony Khan in a cage. Only marginally confident the booking will be any better. You know, I guess I could say this because nothing really came of it. It was just two dudes talking. I had this weird fucking dream last night that I don't know where the fuck I was. I don't know why I was dreaming it, but the way things work out, man, in this world, it's such a mystery, even to me. I don't know if I'm like fucking intuitive like that. The world works in weird ways. I had a fucked up funny dream. I was at a wrestling show or a convention, and I came across Bully Ray. And we got talking, and I asked him about Busted Open. I'd love to be on Busted Open. It's been a dream of mine to get on Busted Open. And I think I would be a great fit for the show. You know, there's not a lot of people like me that are so outspoken and well knowledgeable in what they watch. It would be a great deal to get a fan's perspective on top of everything else that the show is providing. I don't know what he said. From that moment on, it was like a blur. Funny enough, today I spoke to Mr. LaGreca over the phone. And we spoke for about 20 minutes, just in regards to Dynasty. He caught some of my stuff on the stream last night. He wanted to tell me how much of a good job I'm doing. And we got to talking for about 20 minutes. It's just weird how that works out. And this is a God's to honest fucking truth. I dreamt that last night, and then I spoke to Dave via telephone today about Dynasty. So, I don't know, man. JD on Busted Open? How fucking cool would that be, man, if me and Dave end up working together at some point? Or I'm on Busted Open, and you see me mingling with fucking Tommy Dreamer and Mark Henry and Bully Ray, and we shoot the shit about pro wrestling, man. You know, that would be fucking great. I think that'd go over big, man. I think we'd be a nice draw over there, don't you think? Devil Jinx with a $5 super chat. Jay, light bulb went off. I realized I'm in a mid-feud against an Austrian who is currently dressed like SpongeBob. I did like Jay's acting, though. I enjoyed the promo. I enjoyed the segment. Jay Everington with a $10 super chat. Had a dream Dave Meltzer was revealed as the higher power behind the Death Riders in AEW and main evented All In with Tony Khan in a cage. Yeah, no, we don't want to see that. Don't want to see that. I have a feeling that the Young Bucks are going to come out on Wednesday and say that they were the ones behind the Death Riders. How awful would that be? I also have a feeling, a very bad feeling, that the wild card is going to end up being Jack Perry against Hangman Page in the Owen. Kill me now. Best in the world, Matt with a 5. Holy shit. Just watched the Q&A from the press conference from the post show with Tony Khan yesterday, and what was he on? Watch it without sound. Bro, the guy makes at least 16 facial expressions in about 30 seconds. Hardy Punk with a 2. Dirty Dom screws Finn, wins IC title at Mania. Gracias. Yeah, I could see that. Kelt FIFA with a 20 in Super Chat. Left a like on your stream. Now you owe me a favor. That's great, man. What do you want? What do you want? Savvy Seed with 30 months. JD, that fucking spear from Braun tonight was wild. Rest in peace, Carlito. Yeah, that was fucking crazy, man. That was crazy. Robert Hurt with 49 months. JD, you shoot straight with us, and we love it. Question, who do you honestly see Randy Orton facing at Mania now? Top culprit is Nick Aldis. I guess we'll find out more on Friday. But Ludwig Kaiser is begging for a WrestleMania match we could see something very quickly with Kaiser. Him get a WrestleMania match one-on-one, which would be his WrestleMania moment. Out comes Malachi Black, Aleister Black, Black Mass, 1, 2, 3. Goodbye. Or maybe it's Miro. Because I know we're seeing the vignettes for Malachi on Friday. Maybe Miro shows up at WrestleMania, and he's the one to answer Kaiser's open challenge. David Theron, thank you, brother, for the $100 super chat. Again, we love you, man. Thank you. Jace with the new membership. Thank you, Jace. Boss Mo Jackson with the $1.99. Maybe Randy faces Black in a surprise open challenge. Well, I did pitch that on Friday. Scott Woodford with a $9.99. Rest in peace, Kevin Castle. I'm going to take a shot of whiskey in his honor. He would love that, bro. He would love that. Mr. Premium, $1.99. Condolences on the passing of Kevin Castle. R.I.P. Poppy Sensei with 17 months. Them shorts EO was wearing tonight were fire. Cheeky. I got to go back and watch. I did not notice. I was too busy fucking drooling over Bianca. Keith Tunstall with 18 months. Sending you love, JD. Thank you, Keith. Michael with the 2. I'm sorry, JD. Me and the Otis family are here for you. Thank you, Michael. MGM Ballin with a $19.99. I'm sorry if you lost my guy. R.I.P. Kevin Castle. Thank you, Ballin. Boss Mo Jackson with the $1.99. I don't know who Kevin Castle is, but R.I.P. Much love. Thank you, boss. Glow J. $5 super chat. JD, my husband, and we love you like family. My husband and we love you like family. We're here for you anytime you need a shoulder to cry on. You're very special and dear to so many of us. Thank you, Glow J. That means a lot. I appreciate you guys very much. TSR Sports with a $9.99. I love you, buddy. Stay strong. Life is precious. Thank you, TSR. Justin, $1.99. JD, I'm sorry if you lost. Thoughts and prayers. Tribal Chief, $2 super chat. My deepest condolences. JD, love you, bro. Thank you, Tribal Chief. Omega Khan with a $50 super chat. Thank you for sharing. I understand how great Kevin Castle is because of how great you are. I went through a divorce, a heart attack, and several losses by your voice dealing with this. I love you, JD. Long live Kevin Castle forever. Thank you, Omega Khan. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Adam JD 519 with a $5 super chat. R.I.P. Kevin Castle. Kevin Castle and Tony led me to Solid Monster and JD condolences and prayers. Love you. Thank you, Adam. Jay Everington with a 5. So sorry if you lost, JD. I never got a chance to check out Kevin's show, but he sounds like a hell of a guy. Never forget. We've all got your back. Lost but found with a $1.99. Listen, don't apologize. We all thank you and Kev. Killer Swag 216 with 32 months. Never apologize about being human. I'm sure he loved you even though you may have never met in real life, but he's now with you in spirit. R.I.P. Kevin Castle. Tyler with a $1.99. We're all here for each other. I'll always be here. Thank you, Tyler. Mr. Rube Dog with a $4.99. Hours of Kevin Castle. Available on Don Tony and Kevin Castle's podcast. Go treat yourself. Indeed. Go follow DT on YouTube as well. Glow J with a 2. JD, so sorry if you're lost. My heart goes out to you. Thank you, Glow J. Lost but found, $1.99. Why is Jay talking and not fighting? He is a simp. What do you really want him to do, bro? They're saving everything that you need for WrestleMania. It's the precursor before Mania. He's going to tell him what he's doing. Gunther doesn't believe him. That's the whole point that they're trying to make. Gunther is laughing at him. He doesn't believe him. He's relishing in the fact that he did it to his brother. The whole point was Jay exclaiming he's not afraid anymore. Sidro with a 5. What is the similarity between a woman and KFC? By the time you've finished with the breast and thighs, all you have left is a greasy box to put your bone in. I think Salamaster would appreciate that one. Lane for the 4 months. Hi, JD. So sorry for your loss, man. There will be brighter days ahead. Thank you for all the entertainment. Even during dark times, you are a legend. OTS for life. Thank you, Lane. Hardy Punk with a 2. EO dropkick to strong Rhea unprotected face breaker. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Survivor with a new membership. Thank you, Survivor 1993. Sidro with a $10 super chat. Man and woman are having sex in the middle of a dark forest. After 15 minutes, the man gets up and says, "Damn, I wish I had a flashlight." Woman says, "Me too. You've been eating grass for the past 10 minutes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Jeff, thank you, brother, for the $100 super chat. Osakui, thank you for the massive nuclear bomb. 500 in super chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you very, very much. Justin Martinez, new membership. Thank you, Justin. Apex with the 199. Heyman left in 2006. Betrayed Punk first. He did. I don't really see any shenanigans between Punk and Heyman at WrestleMania. I don't. Logan the Inspired with the 499. What is your most shocking winner of a big match in WWE from the past 15 years where you were 100% certain someone would win that match and didn't? OTS for life. I think we talked about something like this on Tuesday. I think that match with Brock Lesnar and John Cena at SummerSlam, I think that was so shocking that nobody really even expected it. And it goes back to the Shriek. The Shriek as well. I did not expect Lesnar to beat Undertaker. To this day, the Shriek should have never been broken. Honestly. Michael Krause with the 2. JD, I message you if you need to talk anytime, bro. I appreciate you, Michael. Thank you. Captain Solo of 45 months. Any chance Matt Riddle ever finds his way back to WWE? I think so. Time eventually heals all wounds. Matt Riddle's got a lot of growing up to do. He does. He's too good, though. Matt Riddle's too good to not be on a major stage. Baby Huey with the 199. You think Triple H puts Vince in the Hall of Fame after he dies? That's a tough question. I don't think so. I really don't think so. MGM Ballin with a 199. EO and Kathy won the night for me especially. Kathy's gorgeous. Kathy's always been gorgeous. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. Do you think this could be AJ Styles' last WrestleMania, or will he be around for more? I genuinely don't know, Solo. I think he's going to maybe do one more. Maybe. I could also see him venture off and do his own thing for at least a year before he retires just to get it out of his system. I could see him jumping to AEW, honestly. I could. Just for that Omega match. Jeff with 2 months. Jay, the unbelievable opening speech tonight. You had me crying. Thank you for going on with the show tonight. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you for the $100 super chat earlier, brother. You definitely made the night for sure. Chris with a $4.99. Rest in peace, Kevin Castle. Sending you, JD, my love, prayers, and condolences. Let's put the ones in the sky for Kevin. Sleep in peace, my friend. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joshua Taylor, $4.99. Bianca keeps getting booed. Maybe she should turn heel after all. Could be in the works. Like I said, John Cena turned heel. Nobody's off limits now. Baby Huey with $4.99. Name a wrestler who shocked you that won the WWE title, and a wrestler who you felt had no business winning the WWE title whatsoever. Miz. Miz on both counts. shocked that he won it, and shocked that he cashed in and successfully did that, and he had no business holding it. Not really a good WWE champion. Triple M, $2 super chat. Prayers to you, DT, and all Kevin's friends and family. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you guys for it. Jinder Mahal's another one. Yes, Captain Solo. That's a good one. How could I forget? Desi Raj. Jinder Mahal. One of the worst championship reign of all time, maybe. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. It's been a long night, man. I appreciate you guys giving me the strength. Without you guys, my strength to do this show would not be there, man. I would have just said, you know what, fuck it. And I would have curled up in a ball on the couch and just fell asleep on the couch, man. But you guys, you made the stream worthwhile. You guys are incredible. Got the best fucking fan base in the entire community. And tomorrow night, we do it all over again, man. But this time, I'm joined by the Sala Monster for episode 90 of TNT. Man, dude, we got a lot to talk about, man. You thought what we said about Dynasty individually was great. Wait till you get a sense of what we say together on AEW Dynasty. It's going to be a great show. Make sure you guys go check out Turtle Beach, turtlebeach.com. Code script at checkout, 10% off. Hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and please go check out all of the other videos on the channel. Social media, YouTube, everything's linked down below. I will see you guys tomorrow for TNT right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.